How do you feel you guys are kind of ready for this challenge now?
I feel like guys are. Like I said, going through what we went through the end of the season, with every game feeling like it was a must-win for us. It's helped us grow, helped us get in the right mindset for games like this going forward, and we'll see how the outcome is.
Do you feel the last game was a real sense of accomplishment or kind of a feather in the cap as you move forward and get that experience to feel what it's like to play in one of these?
No, well, I don't know if those are the words I'd use. It's definitely helped playing in games of big magnitudes like we had prior to it. Our mindset has already been at a certain level, and so now to kind of bring everything together and see it versus a good team was gratifying, and it just helps add to the belief of what is already there.
You've talked about the possession game a lot throughout the year, but is that almost more important in the postseason?
To me, it is. Again, I think Keegan shot 8 for 13 from the three or something like that. Sometimes people say, "Wait, that's the offense we want to have. That's a way to play offense. They should play like that all the time." I don't have control over. We basically doing the same things for them and for the rest of our guys, and I don't and have control over whether or not the ball goes in. And sometimes players don't have control whether or not the ball goes in. But the thing you have the ability to control a little bit more is how you take care of it, whether you're boxing out and not allowing them to get second shots, whether you're leading with your chest and showing your hands and not hacking and sending them to the free throw line. Those are all areas, the turnover game, the free throw line game, and the offensive rebounding game. Those are all areas that you have more control over than whether or not the ball goes in that night. And if you can do that while controlling your effort and your attention to detail defensively, no matter how you shoot, you're going to give yourself a chance, and especially come playoff time because you're playing the best teams in the league. And usually, not all the time, usually the best teams in the league mean that they're going to be a better defensive team. And the further along that you go, you look at the history of NBA champions, the history of NBA champions are all about having top 10, top 5 defenses. So the further along you go, it's the better defenses you're going to face. And so it's harder to control the offensive side of the ball when it comes to making shots, and it's a little easier to control those other areas. So that's my philosophy.
To that tune, how valuable or how encouraged have you been by your team's defense?
Like I said, it's been pretty good this year. After the All-Star break is when we started to bring a level of physicality for closer to 48 minutes than what we had before, and it showed. And I thought against Golden State, I thought it showed throughout most of the game. It was about as complete a game as we've had on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to the 48-minute mark than any other time we stepped out on the floor, because that's an explosive offensive team, as we all know.
Coach, I know that you guys have lost to the Pelicans without Zion, but just how does that change things, even defensively, like you're talking about?
There's still a really, really good team, and and at the end of the day, shoot, we're down 2 guys that score a lot for us, and so just like we feel, they feel other guys got to step up, which they have had before for them, and they probably started Trey Murphy, and when he started, he's been a load because he's more aggressive. He's going to get more shots. C.J. McCollum's going to get more shots, and both those guys have hurt us from the three-point line. B.I. is probably going to be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that Zion's not out. So they still have formidable shooters and scorers, and I hadn't even mentioned Valanciunas, who can score on a low block. So they got guys that can be aggressive. They got guys that have been in that position before. So we're going to have to really come to the table knowing that they're still going to be aggressive, maybe in a slightly different way, because it's not going to be bully ball as much. But we have to get to the three-point shooters. We have to take care of the ball. We have to find these guys in transition, especially behind the arc.
From a physicality standpoint, was last last night. I don't know how long it was now, but was that game a good stepping stone and kind of an evolution of what you want to look like? And I wonder if it's a kind of a good moment to have before you play another physical team like New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, we want to play as physical as we can for as close to 48 minutes as we can, and that's our identity. First and foremost, we want to play fast. We feel like we have the fastest player in the game of basketball in Fox. It's whether it's a make or miss, we want to be fast. And then even in the half court, we want to play with some pace because we're not going to throw the ball to this guy and say, hey, go get a bucket. Every once in a while, maybe Fox, but we don't have a lot of guys like that, and that's just not how we play. So even in the half court, we want to play extremely fast. And the next thing is we want to be physical, and it's physical on both ends. We want to set good screens to get your teammates open, but more importantly, we want people to feel us defensively from the start to finish in a way that we're not sending them to the free throw line. And then, I said this before too, our group is really connected, and they have to keep playing for each other. And if you do that, the belief in the group when they play for each other can go out the roof. And so I liked all three of those instances that are part of our identity in our last game versus Golden State.
Coach, after last game, Keon credited a lot of his confidence from just the confidence that the team has in him, but specifically shouted out Malik for getting on him when he does something bad, or if he does something good, he'll say he needs to get better. How have you kind of seen Malik and even Kevin make an impact on this team from the sideline?
Well, I don't know if it's a huge shout out to Malik, because Malik get on everybody, including me. So, we all got to respect Malik's voice because it's coming if we're not doing the right thing. But to have guys like that, like I said, part of it is playing for each other. And so to have guys like Kevin and Malik that are out, that are still engaged and trying to help young guys on the team that are trying to step up and play major minutes or play a bigger role than what they're used to, that just shows the connectivity of the group and how much each guy cares, not just for their own individual success because I'm out, but for the young fellas' individual success as well as the group's team or connected success.
I imagine it didn't matter much to you who the opponent was, but talking to some of the guys, is kind of looking forward to this matchup to kind of get over another hurdle, if you will. Do you kind of share that, or at least understand that philosophy there?
Nah, Davion says something about I think our last game being a revenge game, and if guys feel that way, that whatever gets them motivated or whatever pushes their buttons, I ain't care if it was Golden State, I don't care if it's New Orleans tonight, whoever's in front of us, we have to win. And whatever motivation we need to generate a win, I'm all for it, but we got to win in order to continue our journey for this year.
Do you think the nature of like a single elimination game makes it more of an emphasis on in-game adjustments, or do you try to just rely on what's worked throughout the year?
No, you have to try to make adjustments because at the end of the day, it's if you don't and you wait, then you're going home. So if something's not working, now the timing of it is crucial because it may not work the first two times, but you're like, okay, it didn't work because that dude made a tough shot, or they got a tip in at the last second, whatever it is. And so you may let it ride a little bit more, but if something just doesn't look like it's working from the jump street, then we got to change it. And and with like something that was evident in our last game, we started Keegan on Steph. He did a great job in the first half. We knew Steph was going to come out firing, and Steph had Keegan on him most of the game. And so I think in that third quarter, Steph hit a couple of quick buckets, and right away, boom, we switched the matchups, to give him a different look. So little things like that are something that we all as a staff have to pay attention for and not wait too long, because if you do, maybe going home.
Everything else? Thanks, everyone.